The stars went dark one by one. The void-born ships moved through the galaxy like a plague. Their black vessels stretched for miles, with sharp edges that seemed to cut through space itself. For 300 years, they had conquered without mercy. 30 galaxies had fallen to their might. Admiral Salthep stood on the command deck of his flagship, the Eternal Void. His six-fingered hands were clasped behind his back as he stared at the holographic display. It showed their next target, a spiral galaxy that the locals called the Milky Way. "Is this all they have to offer?" Salthep asked, his voice deep and cold. The display showed the primitive defense systems of the outer planets. Commander Vex nodded. "Yes, Admiral. The scouts report that the dominant species call themselves humans. They have only reached space travel in the last century. Their weapons are basic. Their ships are slow." Zalthep's mouth twisted into what passed for a smile among his kind. "Good. I grow tired of challenges. The Arcturus beings claimed they would stop us. Now their home world is ash." On the other side of the galaxy, Captain Frank Miller received the emergency message in his small office on Moonbase Alpha. The hologram showed a man with fear in his eyes. "They came out of nowhere, Captain. Our weapons did nothing. The colony on Proxima B is gone. Just gone." The message cut off abruptly. Frank ran his hand through his graying hair. This was the third such message this week, each one from a different outpost, each one ending the same way. He called Earth Command immediately. General Laura Diaz appeared on screen, her face stern. "Captain Miller, we've received your reports. I understand your concern." "Concern? General, these aren't pirates or raiders. Something is systematically wiping out our outposts." Frank leaned closer to the screen. "We need to prepare the fleet." The general sighed. "The politicians don't want to cause a panic. They're saying these are isolated incidents, maybe natural disasters. With all due respect, that's crazy. The reports all describe the same thing. Massive black ships that our weapons can't touch." Before General Diaz could answer, another officer rushed into view and whispered something in her ear. Her face went pale. "We just lost contact with the Jupiter Defense Station. All 4 million people. Gone." Frank felt his blood run cold. Jupiter Station was no outpost. It was the strongest military position in the solar system after Earth itself. Far away, at the edges of human space, the Galactic Council gathered in emergency session. 27 alien species, all more advanced than humans, met in their hidden base inside a hollow asteroid. Susan Martinez, the human ambassador, looked very small among the various alien forms. Some had multiple limbs. Others floated in special tanks. All looked scared. The council leader, a tall blue being named Ziv, spoke gravely. "The Voidborn have entered our galaxy. They have already destroyed the Arcturus defense network. The network that took 50 of our years to build fell in just hours." Gasps and clicks of dismay filled the chamber. "We must prepare to negotiate surrender terms," said another council member, a squid-like creature. "Fighting them is pointless." Susan stood up sharply. "Surrender. Without a fight. Humans don't give up so easily." Ziv looked at her with something like pity. "Your species is young, Ambassador Martinez. You have not seen what we have seen. The Voidborn do not negotiate. They do not show mercy. They consume worlds and move on. They have conquered 30 galaxies before ours. There must be something we can do," Susan insisted. "Pray," said Ziv simply. "Pray that they pass your worlds quickly." Back on his ship, Admiral Salthep watched as the first human defense fleet approached. Their ships were tiny compared to his, their weapons primitive. "Begin the harvest," he ordered calmly. Green energy beams shot out from his armada. The human ships exploded silently in the vacuum of space. Zalthep didn't even stay to watch. He had destroyed countless civilizations before. This one would be no different. He did not know that on a small blue planet, Humans were about to prove him very wrong. The sky above Earth Colony 6 turned black as the void-borne ships blocked out the sun. People ran screaming through the streets as buildings crumbled around them. Green beams cut through the colony's shields like they were paper. In just 1 week, 5 human colonies had fallen. None lasted more than a few hours against the invaders. On Earth, the Defense Council met in an underground bunker beneath Washington. Maps and screens covered the walls, most showing red dots where human outposts once stood. "We've lost contact with Colony 6, said General Laura Diaz, her voice tight. "That's our strongest outer colony. 20 million people." Admiral John Carter slammed his fist on the table. "Our ships are being destroyed before they can even get close enough to fire. What are we supposed to do against an enemy like this?" In the back of the room, a woman with curly brown hair and tired eyes raised her hand. "I might have something." All eyes turned to her. "This is Dr. Lisa Chambers from Defense Research," General Diaz said. "Go ahead, Doctor." Lisa stepped forward and pulled up images on the main screen. They showed energy readings from the void-borne ships. "We've been analyzing data from the few probes that managed to send information before being destroyed," she explained. "The void-borne shields create unusual energy patterns when our weapons hit them. There's a fluctuation here." She pointed to a wave pattern. "It suggests their shield technology operates on quantum principles we haven't seen before." "Can we use this?" Admiral Carter asked. "Maybe. If we could create a weapon that targets these specific fluctuations, we might be able to disrupt their shields." The room fell silent as everyone considered this small glimmer of hope. "How long would it take to develop such a weapon?" asked the president. Lisa hesitated. "With normal protocols. Years. But we don't have years." Admiral Carter stood up suddenly. "What if we put everything into one ship? One vessel with every experimental technology we have. While the rest of our forces try to slow down the Voidborn, this ship could strike at their heart." "A suicide mission," someone muttered. "A chance," Carter corrected. "It's more than we have now." The president looked around the room, then nodded. "Do it. Codename it Spear of Dawn." Meanwhile, at the Galactic Council headquarters, Susan Martinez argued fiercely with the alien representatives. "You can't just abandon the outer systems. There are billions of people out there, not just humans." Ziv, the Blue Council leader, shook his head sadly. "We must consolidate our forces to protect our core worlds. The Voidborn are too powerful." "Then help us," Susan pleaded. "Share your technology. Together, we might find a way to stop them." "Many have tried before," said a reptilian counselor. "All have failed." "Humans haven't tried yet," Susan said firmly. After hours of debate, the council agreed to a compromise. They would provide some technological assistance and try to slow the Voidborn advance, but would not commit their main forces. Back on Earth, construction of the Spear of Dawn began. Workers labored around the clock in orbital shipyards. The vessel took shape, sleeker and more advanced than any human ship before it. Lisa Chambers moved her lab onto the construction station to oversee the integration of her experimental shield disruptor technology. "Will it work?" asked Chief Engineer Peter Wong as they watched the main weapon core being installed. Lisa looked at the massive device. "Honestly, I don't know. We're pushing physics in ways we've never tried before. But it's our best shot." In his flagship, Admiral Xalthep received reports of the humans' continued resistance. "They fight even when they cannot win," noted Commander Vex. "It is unusual." Xalthep dismissed this with a wave. "It is pointless. Their weapons cannot harm us. Their ships are primitive. Still, they've managed to evacuate several colonies before we arrived. Their coordination is impressive for such a young species. It changes nothing," Xalthep said coldly. "Set course for their next major colony. Let us show these humans the futility of resistance." The Voidborn fleet moved deeper into human space, leaving ruins in their wake. But unknown to them, in Earth's orbit, humanity's last hope was taking shape. The Spear of Dawn. Refugee ships packed the space lanes near Earth. Millions flood from the outer colonies as the Voidborn advanced. Emergency shelters filled up faster than they could be built. Fear spread through the population like a virus. In the orbital shipyard, Lisa Chambers hadn't slept in 3 days. Her eyes were red, and her hands shook as she made adjustments to her equations. "You need rest," said Peter Wong, placing a cup of coffee next to her. Lisa barely looked up from her work. "No time. The Voidborn just destroyed the Saturn defense ring. They're getting closer every day." Peter looked through the viewport at the half-built Spear of Dawn. Its hull gleamed in the sunlight. "Even if we finish on time, we're asking a lot from untested technology." "We don't have a choice," Lisa said. She pointed to a simulation running on her screen. "Look at this. When a standard energy weapon hits their shields, the energy gets absorbed. But if we hit it with precisely the right frequency..." The simulation showed a shield rippling and then collapsing. "In theory," Peter added. "In theory," Lisa agreed. "But it's all we've got." Admiral Carter entered the lab area. His uniform was wrinkled, and deep lines marked his face. "Progress report?" he asked. "The shield disruptor is nearly ready for installation," Lisa said, "but we're having trouble with the power systems. They keep overloading during tests." Carter frowned. "We're out of time. The President has ordered the Spear of Dawn to launch in 2 weeks, ready or not." 2 weeks, Peter exclaimed. "That's impossible. We haven't even tested the drive systems yet." "Make it possible," Carter said firmly, "or there won't be an Earth left to save." At the Galactic Council headquarters, tensions reached a breaking point. Susan Martinez watched as alien representatives argued among themselves. "The Quillian worlds have fallen," announced a tall, spindly alien. "The Voidborn left nothing alive." "We should surrender now, while we still can," said another council member. "And what makes you think they accept surrenders?" Susan shot back. "Has anyone ever surrendered to them and survived?" Silence fell over the chamber. Ziv, the council leader, spoke quietly. "No, no one has." "Then we fight," Susan said. "Earth is building a new kind of ship, one that might be able to hurt them. One ship against a fleet that has conquered galaxies." A jellyfish-like creature wobbled with what seemed like laughter. "Impossible." "Maybe," Susan admitted, "but we're going to try anyway. All we ask is that your forces help us slow them down. Give us time to finish our ship." After much debate, the council agreed. They would commit their forces to delaying actions, targeting the Voidborn supply ships and smaller vessels when possible. Back on Earth, Captain Daniel Wright stood in front of Admiral Carter's desk. "You wanted to see me, sir." Carter nodded. "I'm giving you command of the Spear of Dawn." Daniel was stunned. At 40, he was younger than most ship captains. "Sir, there are more experienced officers." "I need someone who thinks differently," Carter cut in. "Your record shows you're unconventional, resourceful, the kind of officer who finds a way to win even when the odds are impossible." He slid a folder across the desk. "Those are your crew assignments. Dr. Chambers will be going with you." Daniel looked through the file. "Lieutenant Maria Jackson as pilot. She has 3 disciplinary actions for reckless flying. She's also the best pilot we have. You'll need her." The file also listed Dr. Alan Ross, creator of the experimental AI system that would help run the ship's complex systems. "When do we leave?" Daniel asked. "As soon as the ship can fly," Carter replied. "Which isn't soon enough." In space, the combined Galactic Council forces engaged the Voidborn fleet near Jupiter. Thousands of alien ships fought bravely against the black vessels. They were vastly outnumbered. But their goal wasn't to win, just to slow the enemy down. From his flagship, Admiral Xalthep watched the battle with mild interest. "They fight with more coordination than expected," Commander Vex noted. "It changes nothing," Xalthep said. "Their weapons still cannot penetrate our shields. Victory is merely delayed, not in doubt." But for the first time in 300 years of conquest, The Voidborn advance had slowed. Not stopped, but slowed. And in Earth orbit, the Spear of Dawn neared completion. The day of launch arrived too soon. The Spear of Dawn hung in Earth's orbit, its silver hull reflecting the blue planet below. It was smaller than most military vessels, built for speed rather than brute force. Its sleek design hid the experimental technology packed inside. Captain Daniel Wright walked through the corridors of his new command. Engineers still worked everywhere, installing last-minute systems and running final checks. The ship wasn't ready. Everyone knew it, but no one said it. On the bridge, Lieutenant Maria Jackson sat at the pilot's station, running simulations. She was young, with short black hair and a permanent frown. She didn't look up when Daniel entered. "Captain on the bridge," someone announced. "At ease," Daniel said. He approached Maria. "Lieutenant Jackson, I've read your file. 3 reprimands for reckless flying." Maria finally looked at him. 4, actually. They haven't updated your records. Why should I trust you with my ship? Because I'm still alive. She pointed to her simulation scores. They were the highest Daniel had ever seen. "I take risks, but I calculate them first." Daniel nodded. He'd need that kind of thinking for what lay ahead. Dr. Alan Ross worked at another station, a thin man with thick glasses. His fingers flew over the controls as he spoke to the ship's AI system. "ECHO, run diagnostic level 4 on all shield systems." "Running diagnostic," replied a calm female voice from the speakers. "Estimated completion time, 12 minutes. "That's Dr. Ross and ECHO," explained the officer beside Daniel. "The AI helps manage all the experimental systems. Without it, we'd need twice the crew." Lisa Chambers entered the bridge carrying a tablet. She looked exhausted but determined. "The shield disruptor is online," she announced. "But I need to warn you, it's still unstable. We never finished the final calibration tests." "Will it work?" Daniel asked directly. Lisa hesitated. "Maybe, for a short time. After that, the power systems might overload." "Might. Will," she corrected. "The question is how long we have before that happens." An alarm sounded. Admiral Carter's face appeared on the main screen. "Captain Wright, we're out of time. The Voidborn have broken through the Council forces near Mars. All remaining ships are falling back to Earth. You need to launch now." Daniel looked around at his half-ready ship and his nervous crew. "We're not ready, sir." "No one's ready for this," Carter said grimly. "But you're all we've got. Your orders are simple. Avoid direct confrontation with the main Voidborn fleet. Observe their patterns, test your weapons on isolated targets, and find their weakness. We'll hold them off at Earth as long as we can." The screen went dark. Daniel took a deep breath and sat in the captain's chair. "All hands, prepare for launch. Lieutenant Jackson, plot a course away from the main Voidborn fleet. We'll swing around Jupiter's moons for cover." "Yes, sir," Maria replied, her fingers already moving across the controls. "Dr. Ross, is ECHO fully online?" "As much as she can be," Alan answered. "We're still integrating some systems. Dr. Chambers, I need you to keep working on the shield disruptor. Find a way to make it stable." Lisa nodded. "I'll do what I can." Daniel pressed the ship-wide comm button. "Attention all crew. This is your captain speaking. We all know this mission is a long shot. Our ship isn't ready. Our weapons are experimental, but we're all that stands between Earth and extinction. Each of you was chosen because you're the best at what you do. Now it's time to prove it." The engines hummed to life. The Spear of Dawn detached from the orbital dock and moved away from Earth. As they accelerated, warning lights flashed across control panels. Systems that hadn't been properly tested began to strain. "Power fluctuations in the main drive," reported an engineer. "Stabilize it," Daniel ordered. "Trying, sir, but..." The ship shuddered violently. For a moment, it seemed like they might not even make it out of Earth's orbit. Then the experimental drive engaged properly. The stars blurred as the Spear of Dawn shot forward at speeds no human vessel had ever achieved. Behind them, the first Voidborn ships appeared near Earth's moon. The final battle for humanity's homeworld was about to begin. And the Spear of Dawn, humanity's last hope, vanished into the darkness of space. For 2 weeks, the Spear of Dawn moved like a ghost through the outer solar system. Its advanced cloaking technology, though still experimental, kept it hidden from Voidborn scanners. Captain Daniel Wright ordered his ship to watch and wait. "We need to understand them before we attack," he explained to his officers. "Every alien race has patterns, habits, weaknesses." From a safe distance, they observed as Mars fell to the invaders. The red planet's defenses lasted just 6 hours. Earth would be next. In her lab aboard the ship, Lisa Chambers studied every bit of data they collected on the Voidborn shields. Dark circles under her eyes showed she rarely slept. "Look at this," she said to Daniel when he visited. She pointed to energy readings on her screen. "Their shields create a specific pattern when they fire their weapons. There's a momentary fluctuation, less than half a second." "Can we exploit that?" Daniel asked. "Maybe. If we time our shield disruptor to hit at exactly that moment, it might work better than we thought. But we have to get very close, and our timing would need to be perfect." On the bridge, Lieutenant Maria Jackson monitored a small Voidborn supply ship that had separated from the main fleet. "Captain, I think we found our test subject," she said when Daniel returned. "That ship is alone, lightly armed." Daniel studied the tactical display. "Good. Let's see what our weapons can do." "Battle stations. Everyone." The Spear of Dawn dropped its cloak and accelerated toward the lone Voidborn vessel. Alarms blared on the enemy ship, but before it could react, the human vessel fired its conventional weapons. As expected, the shots bounced off the Voidborn shields. "Shield disruptor charged to 80%, Dr. Ross announced. "Wait for it," Lisa said, watching her instruments. "We need them to fire back at us." The Voidborn ship turned and fired a green energy beam. Maria rolled the ship, barely avoiding a direct hit. "Now," Lisa shouted. Daniel gave the order. "Fire disruptor." A pulse of blue energy shot from the Spear of Dawn. When it hit the Voidborn shield, something strange happened. The alien shield flickered and weakened. "Hit them with everything," Daniel ordered. The Spear's weapons fired again. This time, they punched through the weakened shield. The Voidborn ship exploded in a ball of fire. The crew cheered, but their celebration was cut short as warning lights flashed across the bridge. "Power overload in the disruptor," Dr. Ross reported. "We need to shut it down, or it'll blow out our entire power grid." Lisa rushed to help, and together they managed to stabilize the system, but not before several secondary systems failed. "Damage report," Daniel called out. "Long-range communications down. Shield strength at 60%. Engine 2 offline," came the replies. "We hurt them, but we hurt ourselves too," Maria observed. Daniel nodded. "But now we know the disruptor works. We just need to make it more stable." A message came through on their emergency channel. It was Admiral Carter, his transmission broken and static-filled. "Spear, Earth under full attack. Defenses failing. Voidborn flagship in orbit. Admiral Xalthep commanding personally. Don't engage. Repeat, don't." The message cut off. "Can we get him back?" Daniel asked. The communications officer shook her head. "No, sir. And based on that signal strength, I'd say Earth's main communication network is already down." The bridge fell silent. Everyone knew what that meant. Earth's defenses were crumbling. "What do we do, Captain?" Maria asked. "Head back to help." Daniel stared at the tactical display. The Spear of Dawn was damaged. Earth was surrounded by hundreds of Voidborn ships. A direct assault would be suicide. "No," he said finally. "We stick to our mission. Hit their supply lines, gather intelligence, and improve our weapons. We can't win a direct fight yet. Sir, Dr. Ross spoke up. ECHO has analyzed our battle data. The AI thinks we could improve the disruptor's stability by reconfiguring the power relays. Lisa looked interested. That might work. But we'd need parts. There's a mining station on Europa, Maria suggested. Abandoned now, but it might have what we need. Daniel made his decision. Set course for Europa. We'll repair, improve our weapons, and continue the fight. As the Spear of Dawn limped toward Jupiter's moon, Admiral Xalthep received word of the destroyed supply ship. How is this possible? He demanded. Our shields are impenetrable. Commander Vex looked troubled. Unknown, Admiral. The ship reported being attacked by a human vessel before contact was lost. For the first time in centuries, Xalthep felt something close to concern. Find this ship, he ordered. Find it and destroy it. The abandoned mining station on Europa stood silent against the icy landscape. The Spear of Dawn docked carefully, its damaged hull creaking under the stress. Scavenging team, suit up, Daniel ordered. We need those power relays. Lisa Chambers led the team into the station. The air was gone, and ice covered many surfaces, but the main equipment remained intact. They worked quickly, removing parts they needed. In her helmet light, Lisa noticed something strange on one of the station walls. Strange markings that didn't look human. Captain, she called over the radio. You should see this. Daniel joined her, examining the symbols. Not human writing, but not voidborn either. It looks incredibly old, Lisa said. She traced the patterns with her gloved finger. Wait, this section here. It's mathematical. These are equations. As she studied the symbols, her eyes widened. This can't be right. These equations describe subspace energy extraction. The exact same principle the Voidborn use for their power systems. Daniel looked at her. Are you saying the Voidborn technology is based on something found here, on Europa? No, I'm saying someone left instructions on how to defeat them. Back on the ship, Lisa worked frantically, translating the strange equations. The more she understood, the more excited she became. The Voidborn don't just use shields, she explained to the bridge crew. Their entire power system draws energy directly from subspace. It gives them nearly unlimited power, but it creates a unique vulnerability. She displayed a diagram on the main screen. When their shields interact with normal space, they create a boundary. If we hit that boundary with exactly the right frequency, we could collapse their entire power system, not just the shields. That's why our disruptor worked on that supply ship, Daniel realized. Yes, but we stumbled onto it by accident. Now we can refine it, make it more powerful. Dr. Ross spoke up. ECHO can help calculate the exact frequencies needed. But there's a problem. He pointed to their damaged systems. We don't have enough power to generate a strong enough pulse. Not anymore. As they discussed options, the ship's sensors detected movement. Multiple Voidborn hunter ships approaching, reported the sensor officer. They must have tracked us here. Daniel made a quick decision. We need more time. Lieutenant Jackson, take us into Europa's ice geysers. The water particles should confuse their sensors. Maria nodded. Hold on to something. This will get rough. The Spear of Dawn dove toward Europa's surface, skimming just above the ice. Massive geysers of water vapor erupted all around them. Maria expertly weaved between the columns of ice crystals. Behind them, 3 Voidborn hunter ships followed, their sleek black forms nearly invisible against space. They're gaining on us, Maria warned. All power to engines, Daniel ordered. The ship shot forward, but the strain was too much for the damaged systems. A loud explosion rocked the vessel, as Engine 2 failed completely. We can't outrun them, Maria said, fighting the controls. Daniel thought quickly. Take us into that large geyser ahead. Maria looked at him like he was crazy. Sir, that would. Do it, Lieutenant. The Spear of Dawn plunged directly into a massive column of water ice. The ship shuddered violently as ice crystals pelted the hull. Warning alarms blared throughout the vessel. The Voidborn ships tried to follow, but were not as maneuverable. One crashed into an ice formation and exploded. The others pulled back, losing track of the human ship in the dense cloud. When they finally emerged from the geyser, the Spear of Dawn was badly damaged. Ice covered much of the hull, and multiple systems were offline. "Find us somewhere to hide," Daniel told Maria. "We need to make repairs." She guided the limping vessel into a deep crevice in Europa's surface, where they powered down to avoid detection. In the silence that followed, a strange blue light appeared in one of the ship's empty storage bays. It pulsed softly, then took form, humanoid but clearly not human. Its body seemed made of pure energy. A startled crew member discovered it during a damage check. "Captain to Storage Bay 4, she called in panic. "We have a visitor." Daniel, Lisa, and a security team rushed to the bay. The glowing being waited calmly. "We are the Luminary," it said in a voice that seemed to echo in their minds. "We have waited long for ones who could understand our message." "You left the equations on the station," Lisa realized. The being's light pulsed in acknowledgement. "Yes, we fought the Voidborn millennia ago. We failed, but we left knowledge for those who might come after." "Why help us?" Daniel asked. "Because the Voidborn consume all. They have taken 30 galaxies. They must be stopped." The being moved toward Lisa. "You have begun to understand, but there is more to learn. We can help you complete your weapon." "Can your people join the fight?" Daniel asked hopefully. The being's light dimmed slightly. "We are few now, the last survivors. But our knowledge is yours, if you are brave enough to use it." For the first time since the mission began, real hope flickered in the eyes of the Spear of Dawn's crew. Over the next 3 days, the Luminary being helped Lisa and Dr. Ross rebuild the shield disruptor. The alien's knowledge was far beyond human science. Its glowing hands moved through solid matter, rearranging components at a molecular level. "We call it a harmonic resonance disruptor," the Luminary explained. "It exploits the boundary between subspace and normal space." The rest of the crew worked to repair the ship. Daniel received a broken message from Earth. The news was grim. "Earth's orbital defenses have fallen," he told his officers. "Ground resistance continues." But he didn't need to finish. Everyone knew what the Voidborn did to conquered worlds. "How much longer until the weapon is ready?" he asked Lisa. "One more day," she replied. "But Captain, there's something you should know. To use it effectively, we need to get very close to their flagship." Daniel frowned. "How close?" "Point-blank range. Practically touching." The room fell silent. "That's suicide," Maria said finally. "It's our only chance," Lisa countered. "The disruptor will affect all Voidborn ships connected to the command network, but we need to hit the source." Daniel made his decision. "Then we go for the flagship. Contact the Galactic Council. We need their help for one final attack." Using the Luminary's technology, they restored communications. Susan Martinez answered from a hidden council base. "Captain Wright, we thought you were lost." "Not yet," Daniel replied. "We have a weapon that can defeat the Voidborn, but we need a diversion to reach their flagship." Susan's face showed doubt. "The council forces are scattered, hiding. Few will risk another battle. Tell them we can end this. All we need is one chance." After Susan signed off, the Luminary approached Daniel privately. "Your plan has merit, but you should know the cost. When the disruptor activates, it will create a cascading failure through all connected Voidborn systems." "Including our ship?" Daniel asked. The Luminary's light pulsed softly. "Yes, the energy release will be significant." Daniel nodded slowly. "A one-way mission, then?" "Most likely." Daniel didn't share this information with his crew yet. They needed hope to keep fighting. 2 days later, the Spear of Dawn approached Earth, cloaked and running silent. The planet below showed dark patches where cities once stood. In orbit, the massive Voidborn flagship commanded a fleet of hundreds. The ship's intercom activated. "All hands, this is your captain speaking. Today we make our final stand. Some of you may have guessed, this is likely a one-way trip." He paused. "Anyone who wishes to leave can take the emergency shuttle. No one will think less of you." No one moved. "Very well. Battle stations." On the bridge, Daniel watched as the remaining Galactic Council forces appeared from hiding. They were few, perhaps 50 ships of various sizes and designs. Against the Voidborn fleet, they seemed insignificant, but they charged forward, weapons blazing, drawing the enemy's attention. "Now, Lieutenant Jackson," Daniel ordered. Maria guided the Spear of Dawn toward the Voidborn flagship, still hidden by their cloaking technology. The massive black vessel loomed ahead, its surface covered in strange patterns. "Weapons status?" Daniel asked. "Disruptor at full power," Lisa reported. "Conventional weapons standing by." "Dr. Ross, status of ECHO. The AI is coordinating all systems. She'll handle power distribution during the attack." As they approached the flagship, a stray energy beam passed too close. Their cloaking field fluctuated. "They've spotted us," Maria shouted, taking evasive action as enemy fire began targeting them. The Spear of Dawn shuddered under multiple hits. A section of the hull tore away, and emergency force fields activated to prevent decompression. "Shields failing," reported an officer as another hit rocked the ship. "Keep going," Daniel ordered. Maria performed impossible maneuvers, rolling and twisting the ship through the storm of enemy fire. Despite her skill, they took heavy damage. "Engine 1 is gone," Dr. Ross called out. "Hull breaches on decks 3 through 5. Daniel gripped his chair as the ship lurched violently. "Distance to target." 5,000 meters, Maria answered, blood running from a cut on her forehead. "Too far for the disruptor," Lisa said. Daniel hit the ship-wide comm. "All power to engines. Everything we've got, for one final push." Throughout the damaged vessel, crew members diverted power, bypassed safety systems, and prayed. The engines glowed dangerously bright as they strained beyond their limits. The Spear of Dawn surged forward, directly toward the heart of the Voidborn flagship. On his command deck, Admiral Xalthep watched the approaching human vessel with disbelief. "They mean to ram us," Commander Vex realized. For the first time in his long life, Admiral Xalthep felt fear. The Spear of Dawn closed the final distance to the Voidborn flagship. Green energy beams tore through what remained of its hull. Explosions ripped through multiple decks. 500 meters, Maria called out, her voice steady despite the chaos. "Disruptor status?" Daniel asked. Lisa worked frantically at her station. "Power levels fluctuating. We're losing containment. Hold it together just a little longer," Daniel urged. Another hit shook the bridge. A support beam crashed down, narrowly missing Dr. Ross. The lights flickered and emergency systems activated. 200 meters, Maria reported. "All weapons, fire everything we have," Daniel ordered. "Clear us a path." The Spear of Dawn's remaining conventional weapons blazed, striking the flagship's hull. They couldn't penetrate the shields, but they created enough confusion to prevent some enemy fire. 100 meters. On his command deck, Admiral Xalthep barked orders. "Divert all power to forward shields. Destroy that ship." The Voidborn flagship's main weapon charge, a massive cannon that could vaporize planets, but it was designed to hit targets far away, not a ship coming straight at them. 50 meters. "Disruptor ready," Lisa announced. Her face was calm now. They all knew what came next. Daniel looked around at his brave crew. "It's been an honor serving with you all." The luminary being, who had remained aboard to help operate the disruptor, glowed brighter. "Your species fights with remarkable courage." 20 meters. Impact in 3, 2. "Now, Lisa," Daniel shouted. Lisa activated the harmonic resonance disruptor at the exact moment the Spear of Dawn crashed against the Voidborn flagship's shields. The human ship didn't break through. It didn't need to. A brilliant blue pulse erupted from the disruptor, spreading across the boundary where the two ships' shields met. The energy rippled outward like waves in a pond. For one breathless moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then the Voidborn shields began to flicker, not just on the flagship, but across every ship connected to the command network. The subspace energy they drew power from became unstable, creating a cascading failure throughout their systems. On the bridge of the Spear of Dawn, systems overloaded everywhere. Consoles exploded in showers of sparks. The ship's structure groaned as the energy backlash tore through it. "It's working," Lisa cried out, checking her readings before her station went dark. The Voidborn flagship's shields collapsed completely. Secondary explosions rippled across its surface as power conduits overloaded. The massive ship began to break apart. Similar scenes played out across the Voidborn fleet. Ships lost power, weapons went offline, and many began to drift helplessly. Inside the Spear of Dawn, Daniel ordered evacuation. All hands to escape pods. Move. But there was little time. The harmonic resonance had created a chain reaction that was destroying both vessels. The luminary approached Daniel. "I can help some of your crew escape." "Save as many as you can," Daniel replied, staying at his post. The glowing alien moved through the ship, enveloping small groups of crew members in protective energy fields and guiding them to escape pods. On what remained of the bridge, Daniel, Lisa, Maria, and Dr. Ross watched as the Voidborn flagship tore itself apart. "I never thought we'd actually do it," Maria said softly. The ship shuddered violently. Hull breach warnings sounded everywhere. "Neither did they," Daniel said, nodding toward the enemy vessel. "That's why we won." The luminary returned. "I've saved 37 of your crew. There's little time left." "Get them to safety," Daniel ordered. The alien hesitated. "I can take one more." The four officers looked at each other. Finally, Daniel nodded to Lisa. "Go. The world will need your knowledge to rebuild." Lisa wanted to argue, but knew he was right. The luminary enveloped her in light, and they vanished. The remaining three held onto their stations as the ship broke apart around them. "It was worth it," Dr. Ross said. Maria smiled grimly. "One human warship against an empire. Who would have thought?" "Humanity will survive," Daniel said as darkness closed in. "That's all that matters." Across the solar system, the remaining Galactic Council ships watched in awe as the Voidborn fleet fell into chaos. The mighty armada that had conquered 30 galaxies was crippled by a single human vessel. Rescue ships rushed to pick up escape pods from the Spear of Dawn. Among the survivors, Lisa Chambers clutched the data core containing everything they had learned. On distant worlds, Voidborn ships suddenly lost power and drifted aimlessly. The species they had conquered realized their oppressors were vulnerable at last. A new galactic alliance would form, led by humans, and their determination never to surrender. The war wasn't over, but for the first time in centuries, hope spread across the stars.